Yeah, a little. Hopefully this works. Oh, I think we might be onto something here. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think we might have something here. All right. I think we're good. Hopefully this works. Yeah. All right. We're good. We're back, Gil. Hey, sorry, folks. That's when you're dealing with technology.
Technology.
Yeah, exactly right. So, all right, Gil. Hey, thanks for staying. And let's back to our train of thought. Now we got these curveballs thrown at us here. We're talking about strategies, right? Or the
Right.
your approach.
Right. And one tool again is the scheduling grid.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a roadmap that shows you along the season where to stop and take a closer look at a game. So it takes a lot of time to look at maybe 10 games when you're looking at the schedule, like who played before, who played after. So what I do is I put a lot of work in preseason. So my grid is going to be highlighting some of the more popular angles that are behind buys and after buys, and it'll show you where coming in the season, the teams that are likely to take a closer look at, that are real appetizing. For example, you have a team that is on a division game. The next game is division, and then their third game is a road interconference game. So right there, you want to highlight that game because after two divisions, and you're going to have a team going on the road, they're probably going to be a little more lackluster after two division games. And same as some of these teams that are playing on the road. I know there's one team playing on the road this season, and then the very next week they're on the road again, but they're playing in London. So I have a little asterisk next to that game.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And then there's also, you're looking at teams that are playing three division games in a row. Those are also asterisk highlighted there, three road games in a row, and things like that. So right off the bat, you can look at this roadmap, look at what weeks have a lot more games that may fit in your strategy. You make sure that it fits your overall handicapping, but it's a good start.
Yeah.
So
No, divisions
mhm.
are so important. Like it's especially the type of division, right? You can get divisions like divisions like Kansas City, AFC West. It's really those tough divisions, but you know who the top dogs are going to be. But then you get those other divisions like was it the AFC North? What's the division with Tennessee? Was that the North or the South? Sorry, the South.
Mhm.
AFC South, where it could be a shot, crack shoot. You just don't know
Mhm.
what it's going to be like year in year out. And those division games, all depending on the line, right? And the
Mhm.
psychology of the betting public. But I like those, like you said, those look ahead, those letdown factors, which are pretty. So you put a lot of emphasis on those look ahead and letdown factors in
Right.
the
So
NFL.
yeah, it's like a roadmap, and it'll be available at Frogtown Sports. And if you go there, you're gonna see free grids, guides, and reports. You click on that, and
Is
you're
it
gonna
up
have to
there
set
right
up an
now?
account. Yeah, it's the one that says free grids and survivor tips.
Okay.
But
So where do I go on the website just so people can see it?
it's on the top right. It says free, and it shows you
Oh
the.
yeah, there it is. Okay.
So if you click on that, you're gonna have to set up an
Okay.
account.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just your name and your email address. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing important. But if you go in there, you're gonna click on the appropriate PDF file. So right now, you're gonna see the grid that I have on there with just the division, shows the interconference and the conference games along on there. But in 2 weeks, when I come back, it's going to be a grid that shows a lot of highlights on what you may want to look at down the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So that's one thing that I use that helps me with my handicapping. And the next thing is line movements. And line movements from the beginning of the week, like right after Sunday, you're going to see Vegas post the lines for the following week.
Yeah.
And right off the bat on Monday morning, you're going to see a couple of those lines change. And lots of times that is where the sharps are jumping on a team that they feel that the odds makers have it incorrect. So right off the bat, the early movements are lines that you want to take a closer look at because sharps may be possibly um, moving that line. And as you go throughout the weeks, I use scoresandodds.com, and and on there it'll show you the line movement. If you click on the line, it'll show you exactly when the line changes. It'll show you what time it changes, and if you keep an eye on that, you can get tips on maybe some news that you're missing. So let's say, for example, you see a line that moves, in 1 hour, and it could be the day before, kickoff. The line moves 2 points, 2.5 points. You're like, wow, what happened here?
Yeah.
And then you go and investigate that, and you find out that there is a key injury. Okay, so it's good to always. I'm always looking at that line movement and so forth. And then the last thing on the line movements at the end of the on the at the end of the right before kickoff, an hour or two, the last day, if you're going to see a line move, especially if it's moving off a key number, let's say, for example, it's you have New England Patriots -3, okay, and it's been -3 all week long, okay. So whenever you see a line move off a key number such as 3 and 7, um, that raises a question. Somebody has laid a lot of money to move that line off of 3. So let's say it's an hour before, 2 hours before kickoff, and you see that line go from 3 to 2.5. You may want to put a little something on the the 2.5 minus or the +2.5 because somebody moved it off of 3 to the 2.5.
Yeah.
So you follow me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see you looking. So that is key. I don't wage. I'm a big contest player, so I don't. I look at that just to really see if I'm on the right side. So if I see that line move in the opposite direction that I've actually played, I'm like, oh man,
It's the worst feeling in the world. Hey,
I think I'm on the wrong side.
Yeah, it's you know what? I was gonna wait till you finish talking. And I'm like,
Right.
I know that feeling. And every sports bettor out there, gambler's probably saying the same things. Like when you're with the line move, you feel great. But when you're the other side, it's like, ah, crap.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, oh
I'm like,
no,
all right.
oh no,
What am
do
I
I do?
missing?
And
Right.
then the thing is, like you said, it's right before kickoff. So like you're the panic alert going.
Right.
Okay, what do I
Right.
do? Do I
Right.
just when in doubt, get out or do
Well,
nothing
that's when I just hope I go 3 and 2, and that's where you're at. 60%,
Yeah.
60% in in contest plays. You should be in the top, top 50, top 100. Um, so line movements and the scheduling grid, and then the last thing is splits and looking for contrarians. Now splits has I've been really looking at over the last couple of years. And if you're not familiar with splits, again, you'll see them everywhere. They're on Wager, and every website usually has splits
Yeah.
now. But one pro tip would be to stay and stick with the same site that you're using for splits. Because lots of times one site may be moving a little slower than the other one to get the actual numbers correct.
Yeah.
So I use scores and odds. I'm not advertising. I'm not getting any money for saying scores and
No,
odds.
no, it's just a
anything like that.
resource. Hey,
Right.
here's one thing, Gil. There's a lot of resources out there, and I'm not that guy. It's like, oh, we're not going to promote it. If there's other tools that are going to help sports
Right.
bettors, I'm all for it. I'm
Right.
not one of those guys who are just like, hey, you can't say that. If there's it's all about resources and helping the audience, right? So
Right.
I'm all big on that. And yeah, I've used scores and odds too a couple of times. VSiN guys do a good job there too. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Promote the guys
I
and
use those, so.
yeah.
Mhm. So scores and odds is great, and they have their splits. And after a while, if you're not familiar with splits, again, Google splits and go to scores and odds, and you're going to see above the lines, it's going to say splits. Click on splits. There, you're going to see um, the spread, total, totals for the over under, and the money line. So each three will have splits for all three of those. So if you're betting the money line, you can click on that and see what the splits are.
And
Now, give me 1 second here while
yeah,
I
just let
pull
people
up.
know exactly what splits are. Like,
Right, right. I'm going to pull that up right here. Let's see here.
what is it, scores and odds?
Yeah, if you go to scores and odds, but and it's funny they have the. I want to go to tonight's games, so I'm going to use that as examples. Man, now I'm having problems.
Like, is it on the props?
It's Baltimore again. Yeah, no. So if you go to scoresandodds.com,
Yeah.
click on
NFL.
NFL,
Yeah.
and then the NFL there you'll see on the top, right above it you see NFL odds splits first half. It's right across from the headline NFL scores and live odds. So
Okay,
it's right above the Texans. There's a line there. It says splits.
Okay, I don't see it. Maybe scores with an S. Like,
Well, yeah, if you're at scoresandodds.com, click on NFL, and then right under preseason week 1, towards the middle top,
oh here,
you'll see
here,
NFL odds.
Let me just bring it over here. I don't know if you can see it because I'm on their website, and if I go to NFL, is it this week's games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It shows you this week's game.
Yeah.
Can I see a share button. If I hit share, will I be able to share it?
Let me see here. Yeah, you can try to share it, and we'll see if we can.
Let's see here.
Webcam.
Share.
I think I might have to. Okay. Close. Did you share it?
No, I'm trying to see
Okay.
if I can find it.
Here, I'll just bring it on the website. So
Okay, I got it. Let's see
Okay.
here. Let's see if this works. Okay, does that work?
Can
you see it? I can see it on my screen
okay, yeah,
with
there
you.
it is. Show on screen. There you go. All right, I think we
Okay.
see it now.
All right, so this is the splits, and where you see the splits is right up here.
Okay.
It says NFL odds and then splits. So when you click on splits, it's going to show you spreads, totals, and money lines. So I'm going to look at the spreads. When you look at the spreads, you're going to see here that the number of bets, 83% of the number of bets on this game tonight are betting on the Patriots. And it's showing you that 88% of the money is on the Patriots tonight. Okay? So that's a game that if you like the Patriots, they're showing you support for the Patriots. When I look at something like this, for me, it's a stay away.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't help my strategy and my support. So I will move on. So the next one you look at is you got the Vikings and Seattle. This one's a little better. So the number of bets, let's say there's 10,000 bets. 56 of those bets, 56% of those bets are on Seattle. Okay. However, 66% of the money is on Minnesota. So this is a perfect situation for contrarian bets.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, a lot of people like Seattle. However, the sharp money, people who have the money are betting on Minnesota. So this gives you an indication that Minnesota is the side to bet on tonight.
Yeah.
And that's only if it fits your strategy and I haven't seen any other like as we go on weeks 1, 2, and 3, when I bring this up and I talk about splits, I'm going to have other supporting data behind it. I'm going to say based on blah 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 and blah blah blah, and this splits supports it as a contrarian bet, and then if you look at Ron Raymond's super data report, 80% of this blah blah, we're going to take the Vikings tonight plus the 3.5.
Yeah. And
So I don't have that data, but tonight, just based on this alone, Minnesota will be the side plus 3.5.
yeah, and the one thing about this type of handicapping is you're there's different categories when we talk about sports handicapping. This is the market psychology part of it, right? When you talk about the financials, where the money's going, and I there's a term I use all the time. It's called head fakes. And you got to be careful of the head fakes because a lot of the sports books out there, they know that people monitor the line. And you just, back in the early days, remember the Don Best days when the Don Best, everybody would monitor the Don Best line. And as soon as it jumped, the whole, every other sports book, like you're talking about the old school sports book, the Greek, Sports Interaction was there. The World Sports Exchange, all those guys, Curve Sports, man, you just follow the Don Best line and all the lines would flip because, but today, and when you talk to other sports bettors and handicappers out there, sometimes the line moves work with you and sometimes they work against you. So, to me, I'm just making a case for both, but I do like this. Here's it does. It makes you feel good knowing you're on the right side, right?
Right.
Like, do you track this and see, like, okay, is there a percentage where it does really, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, a lot of people who do that know that, they'll ask me all the time, well, what's your record on the last 100 games? And the thing is, anytime like I do something like the computer picks and people will say, well, your computer picks, what's your record? Well, you got to be able, for me, let me go to my last 100 games and I'll tell you what the last 100 games. So this way, because people will see that and they'll say, okay, well, what's the record? What's the, is it good? Is it bad? Is it something we can trust?
Right.
And you trust that?
I do trust it, and that's what's part of the re-handicapping after the week is over. So when the week is over, and I'll go back and I'll say, well, what were the splits? The splits was 56, 66, and all right. So I take a mental note of that. I make my notes. Then the next week again, I'll say, well, what did I win with? It was you keep seeing that. Those numbers, that split is coming out, and usually it's the ones I like the most are between 25 and 28% of the side, and then people are betting it, and then a little bit of higher money around 70%. That's usually an indication of a real good. That seems like the higher percentage that I see week after week coming in.
Like when I look at this, when I look at this Eagles game. 38% on the Eagles, and then that's what, 62 on Baltimore?
On the Eagles? Let me find the Eagles. Where is it down?
Yeah, so if you scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah. So you got 67% of the bets. Minus people are betting -6 of 100,000 bets. Say 67% are betting on Baltimore. That's the number of bets, but all the money is going on Baltimore. So 98% of the money, everybody's on that hall ball, 23 in a row. So yeah, that's again.
Yeah. So when you see something like that, now here's a great example, right? Mm-hmm. Is that a stay away or is it a contrarian for you?
Yeah, that's a stay away. Sometimes it might be an indicator. It's a stay away.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk yourself into it saying, well, this is just going to be a blowout. They're going to win by, but only if you have the data that supports it. But for me, that's definitely a stay away.
Yeah. And, at Baltimore, John Harbaugh is his record in preseason is that's, people see his preseason record and it's hard to really contest it, right? The guy's like, what, 43-12, something like that in preseason. Right. So he's just unbelievable. So yeah, no, interesting. I'm not a big splits bettor and prop, and I dabble sometimes in in-game betting when I want to hedge something. But after 27 years, I still love learning this type of stuff, right? But so that's
and all these things are just little indicators. Like I said, I'll have checklist, and the more that these indicators come up, the more comfortable I am on the bet, and it used to be the more comfortable you're on a bet, the likelihood you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So I used to be like, if I'm more uncomfortable, then I think that's a better bet. But after doing all my homework now, doing this, doing all these things, it does make it more comfortable to make it better. Matter of fact, looking at all these splits right now, of all the ones this whole week, the only one that would bet on will be tonight's game, and that's Minnesota plus the 3.5. And that's just, I'm not going to bet it, but if I was looking at this just based on this and not any other data,
Yeah, yeah.
I would take Minnesota. But if you have any supporting, then yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. That's good to know. Hey,
so
hey, that's what the show's all about. Educate, and hopefully we can make some people some
yeah,
money.
yeah.
All right.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's one of your angles. So the next thing we on the top 6 teams win totals.
Yeah, the top 6 teams. We so I'll just go real quick right over this since we have Las Vegas Raiders. And the Las Vegas Raiders, you have Jimmy Garoppolo, who's always has a tendency of getting hurt. He has issues with his foot already. There's no Josh Jacobs, subpar coach. We're definitely going to. They also have a tough schedule. So with all that plus the tough schedule, we're going under the projected. I think it's 7.5 for the
For the year?
for the year. Win totals for the year. The next one is New York Giants. The New York Giants. You got Coach Dayball, who's coming off the Coach of the Year. Um, I'm a Jones fan. I think they're going to have a target on their back because of the Coach of the Year, and they're going to be playing. Um,
Tough division.
yeah, tough division, and I think that they're going to go under as well. So I have the Giants under 7.5. Los Angeles Rams also is one who has the rest disadvantage. They also have a tough conference. They have many injuries last year, and they won 5 games last year. Let's see here, and I just think they're going to struggle throughout the season. And come week 6, they'll probably throw in the towel. And again, Rams under 6.5 there. And then my next under, which is a lot of people, probably 50-50 in this one, the San Francisco 49ers. I have them under. I don't know what line you have now.
No, I don't have the odds on me
Yeah,
yet.
I don't know what it is. I think it's 10.5 or 11, but I have under there also.
Yeah, I'll look.
Again, the 49ers have a challenging schedule. And then they'll not only that they have a challenging schedule, one of the top challenging schedules, but also they're going to have the least amount of days of rest. I think I talked about this last
Yeah, you did.
week
Yeah.
also. So they're minus 20. And on top of this, you have the quarterback situation. Purdy's elbow has some injury, so there might be a big challenge for them this year. So I'm going under 49ers, and that's a contrarian bet, I believe, because I think a lot of people are on San Francisco over. And then
I
next
have
one
11
is
and a half. I have 11 and a half for regular
right.
season. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go under there,
Yep.
and then Seattle Seahawks over 8.5. I'm a big Geno Smith fan.
Yeah, I like him
think
too.
wherever he
Yeah.
goes,
West Virginia
he
days.
yeah, he wherever he goes, he's productive, and but I like him. I like Coach Carroll. They have a great defense, and I think they're going to have another strong season. I like the Seattle Seahawks over the 8.5, and then the last one. I've never had more emails and calls after people listening to the show last week about the Jets going over the 9.5. I'm still behind it. I still like the fact that they're going to be tough in the beginning of the season, and I'm glad at the beginning of the season because that's when they'll be the strongest. But they're going to have a lot of rest advantages throughout the rest of the season, and I think with Rodgers, I think with everything that he has, it I'm just hoping that everything will stay into place. So
Yeah.
I'm not even a big fan of Rodgers, but to me, after looking at everything, I like the Jets over 9.5, and all these I will have posted on the website, and we'll see how we do at the end of the season.
Oh, it's awesome. The Jets 9.5. I'm trying to see what, but yeah, 9.5 minus 8. The Jets is that's a high number, but the contrarian out there might be thinking, 9.5 is a lot, and I don't think you put 100 players in a room. I got a feeling 60 might take the under in that one. But yeah, I like the Las Vegas under 7.5. New York, Brian Daboll, former OC with the Buffalo Bills. I love Daboll. He's a meat potato type head coach,
Right.
and he comes in no nonsense. And when you look at Sirianni in Philly, you got McCarthy in Dallas, and then who else is there in that division? You got the Giants. In Washington, you got Rivera. Daboll, to me, you put those guys, like, if you're starting like a think tank, that's one guy I want on my team when it comes to X and O's and working on strategy and game preparation. I think Daboll really, like, he showed last year right out of the gate. Was it that win in Tennessee last year that really surprised a lot of people, but not the Daboll fans, especially the Bills fans, because he was our OC a couple years ago. But no, Daboll, I'm really big on the Giants. But the good news is, if you like the Giants too, is that people are a lot of America's team. Everybody's going to be on America's team, and then the Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year. So there's, they're just flying under the radar type thing. And I think the Giants, along with the Falcons this year, are a couple of teams you really want to keep an eye on early out of the gate. You had Rams. Yeah, Rams, they went with the Super Bowl. Ever since the Super Bowl, they just haven't been the same. San Francisco. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing, right? When you look at the Purdy, the quarterback, replace these teams with the starting quarterback. Is Purdy really an 11.5, win type quarterback? Is Garoppolo a 7.5 win quarterback? Daniel Jones. You look at the Geno Smith. Geno Smith, all he does is defy the odds his whole life. You know what I mean? And then you got Aaron Rodgers. So you know what? Look at that. That's one thing I like to do, especially in hockey when I join all these pools and I do like the brackets. I replace the teams with the quarterbacks. And do I see these quarterbacks, who they're going to be at the end, right? So that's another good tip when you're handicapping a game. I always look at the head coach, the coordinators, things that no one talk about on the handicapping shows, right? And no, I like the pick, Gil. I like some of these picks. Yeah. But all right. So yeah, rest advantage, disadvantage. You talked about a little bit last week.
Yeah, that's just what I mentioned again is just that they have more days of rest before the next game. So if you have somebody coming off a Thursday night playing next Sunday with the team coming off a Monday night, they're going to be more prepared, and that's another checklist that you check that you put next to that team, and make sure again it fits with all the rest of your strategy and your data that you have, and then with that rest advantage, it might push you over, to pull the trigger on taking that bet, or it may tell you to stay away from the bet. So, but yeah, just rest advantage, looking at contrarians, looking at your roadmap as far as your scheduling grid and line movements. You put all this in the mix and you keep it, keep it flowing. That's what makes it work for me.
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody can take, a bit from it. And if somebody else has tips maybe, or that can expand on it, please leave a message on expanding on whatever I spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Rest is big. Like I don't know if you remember this. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there used to be a handicapper. I'll have to go try to find his name. He was a biorhythm handicapper. And everything was based on biorhythms and the human clock body. And how you talk about that rest, and it's so true. Like, even if these professional athletes, some of them are on the East Coast, some of them on the West Coast, and I did a study last year and I did it. I don't know if you recall, last year I had my 30 and 30 in July, and one of them was talking about biorhythms, and I tracked the teams that from the West Coast that played on the East Coast, and what I found during my study, and if you go to the website, you'll see it there. People think, you got a West Coast team that go to New York, they're going to be off. That's not the game that screws them up. It's the next game, because it's so, you go from middle of the, say the team plays on Sunday, or they'll leave on a Friday. Well, you're talking one day. Now
Right.
they've been there for 2 days, and then they're on the red eye probably the Sunday night getting back, and now they're back on the West time. Now that's the week that screws them up. Not the game. It's the following game that really gets them going, and that's what people tend to forget when they handicap in these games. They're thinking, oh, the West Coast team is still early. Nah, trust me. That if it happens to me, I think it's just a coincidence if they win or lose. But it's the next game, and it proves in my numbers that it's the following game, the following 2 weeks, and especially if you get a team that travels back to the East Coast, home, then back to the East Coast again, then back home. That is such a mess for the biorhythms, right? So so Jay Bills is in the house. How you doing, Jay Bills? Hey, having a great conversation here with Gil the Thrill Melendez from Frogtown Sports, and you know what? That was a lot of that was great information. Is there anything else that we see? The survivor strategies, the scheduling grid.
Yeah, my scheduling grid will be available next Thursday. It's free. You'll definitely find it helpful. I'm also going to talk about the survivor pools next week or 2 weeks, and it'll go over the whole season. It'll highlight weeks to look for, weeks to that are going to be tougher than others, etc. But it'll be definitely a good discussion.
Oh, absolutely.
So you'll find it helpful and informational.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that preseason's here, like the Hall of Fame game, like you said last week, it is what it is, and it's just we get our feet wet type thing. Now you got a full week of preseason football, and then the next couple of weeks, and then it's going to ramp up in September. Then people are going to start talking about college football, basketball, hockey. It's just going to be crazy. So Scott Christensen says, hey, Gil, thoughts on the total wins for the Chicago Bears? So Scott Christensen wants to know if you have any thoughts on the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, looking at the Bears lineup going into this year.
See if I can quickly find what I had. Actually, you know what? I just threw it away too.
Just look at their starting quarterback rotation. You got Justin Fields, PJ Walker, Nathan Peterman, we know him in Buffalo, and Tyson Bagent, the rotation. Chicago is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Chicago.
Matt Eberflus.
Notes somewhere.
Yeah. But you know what? When you think of Chicago, for me, I always think of the great running game and a great defense, right? But their over-unders this year at not BetChris. See how old school I am? I call bookmaker BetChris. 7.5.
Okay, so I do have some notes. It's actually from Matt. I want to say his name is Butchers. Matt Butchers. I was watching him on one of the shows, and he was talking about over-unders. I was looking at it. I didn't pull the trigger on it, but this guy is pretty good. I guess he went 5-2 last year on his totals, and he liked the Chicago over.
Chicago over,
So
right?
he has over, and that's from Matt Butchers.
Yeah.
And so that's what I have. I'm going to share it with you. But I can't give any more than that.
And you know what? Let me bring up the Chicago Bears record from last season, and I'll go to my super database right here. And folks, if you do have any questions like that, I'll always have them ready, and I'll bring them up during the show. So let me go to my 2022 season, and let's see the Chicago Bears, how they did. Not every team. Hang on a sec here. Go Chicago. All right. Chicago Bears 3-14, not the greatest. 5-12 against the point spread. Yeah, tough schedule last year. When you look at game number 1 out of the 19-10 against the Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers 27-10, Houston 23-20, Giants 20-12. Eberflus second season getting ready, but it's Justin Fields led the league in rushing last year as a RPO type quarterback. But the thing with these RPO type quarterbacks, and you look at it in college football, it's really tough on the body. And you can get away with an RPO quarterback rushing a lot of times in college because in college football there's some great athletes, but it's not the NFL. NFL, every player is great. In a college football team, you might get all Americans, 2 or 3 on a team, but you go to an NFL, they're all Americans, right? So I think from a RPO system point of view, they're gonna have to find a way to really be more balanced on offense for the Chicago Bills. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All right, I want to ask about the Twins versus Tigers today. All right, Jay Bills. Chiefs going back to back, says Jay Bills. But yeah, awesome. All right, Gil. Hey, you know what? You're off next week. You're out in Vegas entering the contest.
We're going to enter the contest.
Yeah.
4 Circus Survivors and 1 Circa Millions, and then the Westgate Super Contest as well.
Yeah. Do you think? What do you think the contest game is still a big thing? Like, I know it is in Vegas, but I just wonder, with all this micro betting now, like more in-game betting, more prop betting, like the landscape of sport, the old school sports betting that we know of, betting on games and full 4 quarters, it's kind of changing. We're seeing so many people, bet first half, bet first quarter. Right. The prop betting on players. Will Justin Fields, will he score 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns with an RPO in game 1? Those are the things we're seeing a lot right now, eh? Right. But I wonder if the contest game, right. Like, I know for us,
based on the information, the Circle Survivor Pool has been having beaten the entries, the projected entries in the last 3 years. They think that can get up to 10,000 entries in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. As far as the Mega Millions and the Westgate, they're still around. They're still steady, and I think that they're going to have more people coming in because they are changing it up. Where you can go on a 3-week, you can go like 14-1 on 3 weeks. Like, hopefully everybody has done that before. Where if you can go in 3 weeks, right there, that pay, you can win $150,000 in 3 weeks on these contests. Before, it used to be the top 50, top 100.
Yep.
So now they're broken down where there's 28 different prizes throughout the season. So with the $1,000 entry fee, that's again, something that you budget along the time. You budget it, and it's a good time, and it's you're playing against the best, and you see how well you do.
Yeah, your betting menu grows with the sports contest, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. And then you're following your personal plays, and then you throw in college football if you're a college football bettor, and it's even worse if you're Canadian, because then you're throwing in your CFL picks in there. So yeah,
remember, I strictly do NFL.
Yeah, and that's a great thing.
I was totally focused on all this information I gather. I can't imagine doing college football. I really can't.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. All right, Gil. Hey, thanks again for coming on the show. And again, if people want to get in touch with you, where can they reach out?
They can reach out at frogtownsports.com. Just contact me on there. You can also reach out to Ron if you need any further information. But Frogtown Sports, stop out there, register. You're going to see a lot of information on the grids, guides, and the reports page. Throughout the year, I'm going to be throwing up PDFs that are going to be supporting probably a lot of stuff that I talk on the show with you.
Awesome. All right, Gil, have yourself a safe trip next week, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks. And man, we'll be week 3 of talking about preseason week 3, and that'll be it. And then the week after that, we'll be talking NFL.
Then there's a lot of meat on the table after that.
Yep. All right, let's eat.
All right.
All right, buddy. Have yourself a good day. Take care. All right, that's Gil the Thrill Melendez, and you'll be seeing Gil each and every week here on the podcast. And I want to thank Gil for coming on the show today. And a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning, but we got through it. And the one thing about the internet is that you just got to go right back, reboot the computer, and we were back live on the show. All right, so I see somebody asked me a question about baseball. Let me go back to the baseball. What was it? It was Jay Bills asking about the Twins and the Tigers. Let me go get the REM report, and let's go Major League Baseball. Twins and Tigers. That looks like it's going to be an early start. Yeah, it's going to be a 1:10 start. You got Kenta Maeda going up against Reese Olson. Minnesota 6-4 straight up last 10, 4-6 to the under. My line -147. Minnesota overvalued today. And you look at the series between the Twins and the Tigers. This is game number 4 of the series. Twins took the first one. Remember Pablo Lopez over Joey Wentz 9-3, and then the Tigers won the last two 6-0, 9-5. So the Twins got to win this one here today to even out the series. Let's see how Minnesota does on the road on the fourth game of a series. Not good. They are 0-2 this year on the road, the fourth game of a series. But how about Detroit? They are 1-0, so only one. But Major League Baseball teams this year, fourth game of a series, pretty much 500 at 45-43. And, Kenta Maeda, I'll have to bring up his stats to see how he's done in his last few starts. Hey, we're going to give information on the Twins. Got to have all the information ready to go. Kenta Maeda this year, 3-6, 4.2. Reese Olson, 1-5, 4.95 ERA. Maeda's last start went 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks, got the win. And you know what? I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota here today. Get back on track. Value, overvalued. And again, I'd rather bet on an overvalued team than an undervalued. So I'll take Minnesota. I like Minnesota in this spot. I don't know if I'll make it a premium pick. Probably not. But I do like the Twinkies over the Detroit Tigers. Also, if you want to follow my baseball picks or some of the top scorers each and every day, go to bullpenpicks.com. Go to top pickers, top scorers. Click on it, and then click on follow my picks, and you can get my baseball picks each and every day at bullpenpicks.com. And before I go, I want to show you guys something about value. We talk about it in our book, and in fact, let me bring over the another URL here. All right, so if you go to my book, The 24-Hour Rule, and you can get a copy on Amazon, I talk about the art of value betting, right? Understanding the concept of value in sports betting. Let's go here. Let's go to the value report. Let's go to Major League Baseball. Go to favorites. Now, this here is a chart you can get on the website, ATS Stats. And what you want to do, if you follow teams, the strength of schedule, and if you follow every team what their record is. So today, Minnesota is playing Detroit, right? So Minnesota. Let's go to the Minnesota right here, a B-type team. Where's Minnesota? Actually, you know what? No, they're where's Minnesota? Where's right here? B-type team, and they're on the road against a C-type team. So when Minnesota's on the road against a C-type team, that's the average line as a favorite, -147. Now, if you click on underdogs, when Minnesota's on the road against a team with a losing record, they're normally an underdog of +124. So why is this important? Because you want to see what their line move. Because at the end of the day, it's about what you're buying, right? What am I buying? Today for August 7th, Minnesota against a C-type team like Detroit, they're worth 147. In June, that was probably -137, right? But because they're a B-type team, and you want to see how the other teams are doing, look at the Yankees against here's another way you can really gauge the value and the I always say perception versus reality, right? What's the perception of Minnesota? But here's the reality. And the reality today for August 10th, the perception or the reality is they're 160 favorite, but normally they should be at 147. So in the difference in the middle lies the difference. And when you look at the other teams, look at the Yankees. That's a reputation, 154. Boston, 141. Toronto, 140. Tampa Bay, 180. That's because they started off really good, and now look at that. There's really overvalued. Like that's 181 is way overvalued for Tampa Bay. But normally everybody's in the 140 range. And if you look at here, Cincinnati, 126. That's because they're starting rotation. Milwaukee, a little surprising, 134. But that's how you can tell value when you're buying. And today, August 10th, all these teams, they have a number. And what do I say at the top of the show? It's your number against the bookmaker's number. And you got to make sure that the numbers you're buying into make sense. And is there value in what you're buying, right? So that's a good way to find and shop for value. Shop for value, play the percentages. That's what I say all the time, right? Shop for value, play the percentages, and use a disciplined money management system. All right, let's go to Allen Iverson time. Actually, my crap, what happened to my my thing just froze. Yeah, that's because we had to reboot our system. It wasn't working. So let me go to 80% Club stats. Won't be able to play the Allen Iverson practice, 80% club stats. If you like stats and trends, we got some good ones here today, especially on the Dodgers. Dodgers 28-5 as a home team playing on Thursdays. The over 11-2 for the Pirates at home last 2 years when the totals 9.5 and 10.5. That's good for 84.6%. The Phillies 15-3 as a home team when they scored 7 runs for the last 2 years. That's good for 83%. Kansas City 10-2 to the under as an away team when they're on a 6-game road trip the last 3 years. That's a good little pearl right there. Tampa Bay 14-3 as a home team coming off a game where they allowed 6 runs against. That's good for 82%. And there you have it. Those are your stats and trends today, courtesy of the Rain Report. You can get the Rain Report each and every day right here at atsstats.com. All right, we lost our... let me go to my streaming here. Let me see if I can get my Stream Deck back. I lost my Stream Deck, so I won't be able to play you out here. Hey, that's the purpose of the show. I got to play you in and play you out, but I won't be able to do that today because for some reason my Stream Deck won't work. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate you guys sticking till the end. If you're still out there, if you're watching on the replay, don't forget to hit that like button. Oh, there we go. I might get my there we go. I'll be lucky enough to play you guys out with the proper way with our intro and outro. In the meantime, shop for value, play those percentages. I'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of the Rain Report. And again, thanks to Gil the Thrill Melendez for joining us on the show. And we'll see Gil in 2 weeks. Have yourself a great weekend. Hey, have a great weekend. And we'll see you back shortly with another edition of the Rain Report. Cheers.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey from Wrigley Field on a beautiful day for baseball. To be the man, you've got to beat the man.
Joe owned the Chiefs.
Owns.
Owns.
I don't know.
Struggling.
Can we have fun? You're damn right. I demand that we have fun.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Straight cash, homie.
Holy cow.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
What the hell's going on out here? Woo! If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Let's go to eat a goddamn snack.